Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two. With your host, Chris, I am that guy who I just spoke of right now. Welcome, everybody. This is episode number 134, and I have a fantastic guest for you. And I will get into that after I do some shop talk. Talking shop. Of course, I always bring this up because I care and because I want to hear from you guys. So Twitter and Instagram, both Casting for Two, or email is castingfor2@gmail.com. Send me an email, tweet, Insta, whatever you want. I just want to hear from you. iTunes, even Google Play Music, Stitcher. Leave me some comments. Just say it. You can even just say, "Hey, baby." That's it. And I'll be like, totally, I get it. Let's see. What else? I have a little bit of time to kill. Secret Stage Productions. As you guys know, I'm partners with them, so go on to secretstageproductions.com and check out all their podcasts. And yeah. So I guess I should get in my guest today. So my guest is the amazing, talented, and very wonderful Lisa Durupt. She is an actress, and she lives in Vancouver, which is in Canada. Well, which is in British Columbia, which is in Canada. And we all know how much I love my British Columbians. I love them, and I love visiting that place and the people, and I love everything about it. So anyway, to get back on topic, we had a wonderful chat, and I want you all to hear it because it was great. So let me stop talking and let me tell Chris to cue the music, please. And thank you.
Hey.
How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little weird, like the good kind of weird.
Why?
Well, because I've had vertigo these past couple of weeks, and I'm getting over it.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah, once it's weird because I was talking to my girlfriend because she's of course concerned with how I am. And
be weird if she wasn't.
Exactly. She could not care less. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's like a man cold, but on speed, I guess.
Yeah. So then I get checked up, and the weird thing is that the doctor tells me, yeah, you have vertigo, and what causes it? Oh, anything. It just happens.
Well, that's it. That's what I've heard, is that they don't actually know what causes it. I was watching back home. I went home and I saw a kids theater show, and one of the ladies who I knew, who was an actress in it, had to bail for the night and had an understudy come in, which she would never do, but she had the worst vertigo, and she just said there's nothing she could do, and they could not understand how she got it. It was all of about 48 hours, and then she was fine, which doesn't sound like that's the same for you.
Right.
No, she just said there's nothing that they could have told her that would have been, able to help her at all. And she, to this day, has no idea why she got it. So I feel for you.
Yeah, it's just like a headache. You can just get one at any point,
And then now you have to talk to me, and I'm so loud.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Well, see, that's part of the reason why I'm feeling good is because I'm also on meds.
Oh, they're hey.
So, but the thing about these meds is that they make me very sleepy.
Okay.
So I've been very sleepy for the past couple of weeks, but earlier I had a Mountain Dew.
Okay.
So I'm feeling very jittery right now.
So if you pass out, it's not my fault.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
It's not my fault. Basically, it's not my fault, is what I'm taking from this.
Exactly. You know, if I pass out, ask yourself some questions, and I'll
Right.
just dub in myself later.
Right. Okay, perfect. Done.
And then it also doesn't help that to add to my juriness, I just watched the final dance scene in Flashdance.
Ooh.
So now I feel very pumped and ready to take on the world in my black leotard.
Oh my God. You just went back to like everybody who was ever born in the 80s. We've all reenacted it. We've all done it.
Yeah, here's the thing. I technically I was born in the 80s, but it's the late 80s, so I don't think it counts really.
Right. Okay.
But my sister, who was born in the 80s, she would watch every type of, musical, movie with dancing in it, all that.
Right.
So I was exposed to a lot of, the flash dances and the greases, both one and two.
Right.
Yeah, and so I'm cool with it. And so that stuff kind of does get me pumped a little.
Totally. I hear ya.
But I'm excited to chat with you. Again, I don't want to keep dropping my sister's name, but when I said I was going to talk to you, she's like, Murder She Baked?
Yes.
And she got super excited.
Aw, because she likes the book series or because she's seen the movies?
She is the queen of Hallmark.
Oh, well, hey, then she's in the right zone. She baked through and through.
Exactly. She is fully baked. No.
Right. She's exactly. That's the one thing we don't have. Some of the other shows for Hallmark, they have, their little hashtags like the Hardys, or I think right now the Chesapeake Shores, the new show. It's the Chesapeakers or something. But there's one that they've never caught on for Murder She Baked. Someone tried to start the hashtag Bakers, but it just never went anywhere. So I don't know. We don't have a hashtag for the follower people.
Yeah, I don't think the Murderers is a good hashtag either.
Tough one. Like you don't have a lot to work with.
No, I mean
They'll come up with something.
You could be like MSBers, MSB.
Right. But then that makes me think of BSB, and then again that brings me back to the kind of 80s born 90s music lovers. So
what is that?
Oh my gosh, Backstreet Boys. Hello.
Oh. All right.
You definitely were. You're too young probably for that.
No, I'll tell you why. I was an NSYNC guy.
I will admit, I did go to their concert when they first, I was from Winnipeg and they came to our city. And I will openly admit that my friends and I at the age of, I think we were 18, we followed their tour bus. And when they stopped for gas, we followed them in and we did get a glimpse, but they were quickly shuttled back onto their bus. So, and the next day my dad was like, why is the car covered in bugs? And I don't know. But really, we chased them for like an hour and a half. And to this day, he won't let it die. So if he hears this, he'll know that I finally had to admit it. But yes, I hear you. I loved them too.
As soon as I saw Justin Timberlake on the MTV Music Awards have those cornrows, I'm like, you know what? This guy's going to be an actor one day. I just knew it back then.
That's all it takes. Just a few cornrows.
Yeah, when he wore a matching denim suit with Britney Spears. I knew it. I knew he was going to be something.
He's done okay for himself. He's good.
He is, I think he's a great actor. I like him. I'll watch him in a movie.
He's just ridiculously talented in everything that he does, which doesn't really surprise you because he obviously is very much a very driven person. So you would see that anything he does do, he's going to do it well, which is great. I mean, that's kind of a true artist, right?
Yeah. But does he have to be that good looking? That's my problem.
I don't think any of the female audience is going to complain.
That's true. Well, from the male perspective, it's like come on.
Yeah, it's not fair.
But I mean, like, just give him one thing. Don't give him all these things that he's good at. It's like it makes us look bad. That's what I'm saying, Justin.
Right, exactly.
But anyway,
I hear you.
So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's beautiful out here. I'm in Vancouver, so it's very, very nice outside right now. So I'm kind of loving it.
So I am, I don't want to say I'm a full-fledged Canadian, but I went to school in Victoria.
Where? At UVic, I mean?
Not at UVic. It was a film school in Victoria.
Oh, great. It's beautiful there.
I love Victoria so much. It is my second home away from home.
So where's home for you now?
Okay, so I
I'm going to
mean,
interview you.
that's
Where are
fine.
you from?
So I live in San Antonio,
Oh,
Texas.
holy crap. Okay, so you're not even close to here.
Not at all, no. But I was originally born in El Paso, which is on the border of Mexico and Texas.
Right, right.
And then when I was little, I moved to Oregon.
Okay, so you're
So
closer.
exactly, and so I feel like Oregon is more my home. You know.
Right. Okay, fair
Um,
enough. So then that wasn't that big of a stretch. So then how did you end up going to film school up in Victoria?
well, film was something I was very interested in when I was growing up. I remember I just graduated high school, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Because this whole entire time from third grade on up, I said I want to be a teacher. I want to teach history. You know, stuff like that.
I feel like that's not things that people say often. So good for you.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was saying that, you know, because I felt like I had some good teachers and I had some bad teachers, and I said, you know what, I want there to be a good teacher in the world that makes me love history, you know, just or you know stuff like that.
That's a good point because my mom is a teacher, and I will say that I agree with you. Certain teachers, you learn a lot. And to this day, my grade 12 teacher, Madame Plamano, I learned so many things from that woman that at the time, she goes, "You're going to learn so much from this." And you kind of go, wah, wah. And then years later, you're going, "Oh, yeah, she was right.
Yeah.
Turn."
See, I wanted to be that,
Yeah, you want to
so
be Madame Plamano. Yeah,
yeah, and so I took some, you know, basic community college courses just to, you know, get my feet wet.
right.
And then I took a history class, and I sat there and I said, "This is not what I want to do." So then I would not go to class, except I would stay in the cafeteria, and I would write crappy screenplays.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then one day, you know, it just my parents. I told them how I was not liking school. I
Right.
wasn't going to class, and they said, "What do you want to do?" And I
Yeah.
just blurted out, "I want to go to film school. I want to make movies."
Right.
And they said, "Okay,
Wow.
let's do this."
That's
So
awesome on their part.
I have very supportive parents, luckily. So
That's important though, especially in this business. If you don't, I don't understand how people can get started if they don't have that support from your
right.
parents like that, because that's huge.
But yeah, and you know, and so when I was kind of backtracking on where this whole film thing was or came from, it's just when I was in high school, I would write scripts and I would try to get my friends to act in them.
Yeah.
But where it really hit me was my friend was doing a final project. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna edit this, you know, little video." And I was like, "Edit video? What are you talking about?" And
Right.
that the idea that we can edit at home blew my mind.
But that's where you know, sincerely, that's where you know you have a passion for it. Is I'm the same way. I get so excited about, even if I'm just, self-taping an audition and editing it. Like I've gotten more, into the film world and producing and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and learning the whole editing process. To me, it's exciting. So I hear you. Like it gets your juices going, and that's when you kind of go, wait a minute, I don't just want to be a performer, or I don't want to be a history teacher, or whatever your story is. It just you want to make film. It's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I get excited when I have to edit stuff. It's, you know, whenever I edit projects, I have a hard time doing a rough cut because I'll go from, you know, rough cut to final product in like, like 2 to 3 hours, and I'm like,
Right.
here you go, it's done. And my buddy's like, you need to start doing rough cuts. I was like, I can't help it because I want to see it all done.
Right. He's like, no, I'm jumping right to it.
Yeah, it's like,
Awesome.
nope, no notes. I'm going to the final. Leave me
So then
alone.
when you were in Victoria, did you ever get to go to, say, like Oak Bay? Not like, I've got to stop saying that. Did you ever get to go to Oak Bay Marina and see the seals, or any of that kind of stuff? Did you get to experience any of that, or
N-
is that something no one told you about?
no one told me about it, but let me be honest with you. I'm not a touristy guy.
Ah, copy that. Okay.
Yeah, so if you were, you know, even if I was there and a group of friends were to be like, "Hey, let's go to this marina that I heard about," I'd be like, "Yeah, but you know, the new Twilight movie just came out."
Ah, okay. Gotcha. You
Yeah,
didn't see the Butterfly Museum or any of that stuff.
no, not at all. I know about the Butterfly Museum. I did go to that one place only because it was Castle something, but they used it in the X-Men movies.
Oh, I don't even
And
know
I,
what that
I
is.
forgot what it was called, but then they also used it in Arrow.
Okay. Yeah,
But
they film a lot. Like BC Productions film a lot over there too on the island.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And because I have all my friends that are still there. They're either in Victoria or even Vancouver, and they're always filming.
Right, right, right.
And they
Oh,
always have these secret projects. Like, oh man, I was doing this thing the other day. I was like, what was it? I can't tell you. Well, then don't bring it up.
right? They had to sign the NDA. They can't speak of it, but they're gonna tell you. That's my biggest pet peeve with actor people that will post things like that. Like,
Uh,
got something to tell you, but I can't tell you yet. You kind of go, well, then what? Just don't say anything.
right, exactly.
Yes,
But
to your own.
these are production people.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
And so when my buddy he worked on the Man of Steel, I don't want to say I was bugging him, but I mean I was like, hey, give me a little tidbit, please, because I'm a huge superhero fan, and he was like, I can't do it, man. Can't.
I totally just Googled that castle that you're talking about. Is it Hatley or Hately Park National Historic Site in Victoria?
Yes,
That is the main castle for X-Men.
yes.
That's amazing. Yeah, I never saw that either when I actually went to school there as well. I didn't go to film school. I went to a musical theater kind of boot camp school there for a year. But it was my parents always joked. They said it was the island of newlyweds and nearly deads.
Yes.
In the most loving of ways. It was great. But that's pretty much the reputation, right?
It is now. I mean, the old people are still there.
We
When
call
I
them wise people, not old
Oh
people.
yes, sorry, the wise men and ladies.
Yeah.
But also when my friends they tell me, oh yeah, good luck trying to find a girl because there's also a lot of lesbians there.
Interesting.
And I didn't, I was just, how do you know this? I mean, it was
Where did
like,
that stat come from?
exactly. I didn't like, what are you talking about? So apparently they're all there. Apparently, I just couldn't find any of them.
Well, it's a happy island, so they're doing something right. Good for them.
Exactly. There we go. There we go. This podcast brought to you by the city of Victoria.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
But so where did you get your start? Well, first off, let me backtrack.
Okay.
Again, I'll try not to jump all over the place because I am jittery right now.
That's okay. It's Mountain Dew. It's not you.
It's brought to you by Mountain Dew.
Right.
So when did you get the bug for performing?
I was not a performer in school, other than we had, the odd time you'd have a Christmas play or something, and everybody in the class would audition for it. And I just always thought that kind of stuff was fun. And when I look back now, I tended to get those parts, but not. To me, it was more of a competition. The last man standing got the part, and I was very athletic as a kid, so I didn't realize it at the time, but I think I was already getting involved in the arts as a kid without trying to. I got bit by the bug when I was about, I want to say I think I was 19 or 18, and I'd finished high school. I was supposed to go away to school for hockey, to play hockey in the States, and I kept dislocating my shoulder. I did it about every 3 months. So I did it in August and then December and then in March again. And I just knew, and this was my grade 12 year, I just knew if I went away to school without getting it fixed, I wouldn't do well. I wouldn't have a great 4 years. So my mom convinced me. She said, get the surgery, stay back home. I'm from Winnipeg, stay home, take a couple easy classes at university. And I was always very outgoing. So I just thought it would be an easy class to take, a theater class. And I think the very first assignment we got was to go see Chorus Line. And I just remember sitting in the audience watching a girl from Winnipeg by the name of Amanda. And she was playing the character Val, which if you've ever seen Chorus Line, she has this great song about dance 10 looks 3. So in other words, she can dance amazingly, but she doesn't look like a star.
Mm-hmm.
And she was doing fan kicks and she was singing her guts out. And something hit me in how athletic it looked and how challenging it looked at the same time. And when I was little, my mom made a joke because she put us in organ, which to this day I bug her about. I'm like, who puts their kid in organ? Put him in piano. But
Right.
she thought organ would be cool. She probably got a sale on the organ, let's be honest. So she put my sister and I in that, and my sister excelled in music, whereas I didn't really have the attention span at the time for it. So the joke was that when we would do our presentations at the end of the year, or recitals, I was horrible because I never practiced. So my mom would always say, "Oh, you're tone deaf." So something hit me watching this, going, "There's athletic. This girl's athletic," and this would actually give me also a reason to prove that I wasn't tone deaf. I got this. I can do this. And I kind of just switched gears completely. I guess that's when I got bit, and I started taking every singing lesson, dance class, anything I could get my hands on. And I was already 19, so I had a lot of catch up to do.
Mhm.
And then just by the way of kind of everything that's gone in my life is just, if my mom always said, don't say no to an opportunity. Like you don't have to love it, but learn something from it. So I just started to kind of really say yes, or at least be open to the idea of different things that came along from that journey, and ended up in a stage combat class, which turned out that the teacher was also the stunt coordinator for all of Manitoba. So he got me involved doing little stunt stuff in the film industry, which kind of broadened my horizons for the entire film industry in Manitoba, which then landed me on a series that filmed in Winnipeg, which then got me an agent in Vancouver, and it all kind of went from there. So it was really just one of those moments that I could not have planned or thought of, even growing up. It just kind of happened, and I just went with it. And that's pretty much how it all started.
Okay. I and
Yes.
I'm very fascinated with actors just because I'm not an actor. I'm more of the production side.
Right.
But when I was going to my film school, there was the production side and the acting side.
Right.
The acting side is just so, as an outsider looking into it, like I was like, I get it, they're actors, they're doing what they need to do, but the exercises they would do was just so funny to me. Like they would, I don't know, acting exercises are just real funny to me. Anyway,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's cool that you got to see the stunt side, because stunts
Yeah.
is, I was thinking about it. There's so many people that there's so many editors, so many directors, so many writers. It's like stunt people will probably never go out of business because they always need these people.
Right. But it's the weirdest. I should backtrack. It
Okay.
is the toughest industry
Yes.
to be part,
Yes.
especially. And I don't want to, I'm not one of those that advocates the whole, poor me, I'm a woman, it's so hard. I just say, come to the table with a skill set, and then let's talk from there. But the women especially who do stunt work, like stunt work already is one of the only categories that never gets nominated for
Yeah.
awards other than their own awards, award show.
The stunties.
Right, but the longevity of a stunt person in general is much shorter compared to, say, if you're a female actress versus a female stunt performer. Just your body can only take so much.
Right.
They're looked at like, for females, you look at any film, any big action movie, there's going to be one girl to every 10, 20, 30 guys.
Mhm.
And that one girl normally has to be the exact size and shape of whoever they're doubling. And, and then on top of that, if they're nondescript, which is what they call the people who aren't doubling someone specifically, they, again, are maybe one of, there might be 50 people that they need, and they only need one or two girls. So it's such a tough career. So that the women that do it train so hard and are so fierce and are so good at what they do. And they just never get acknowledged for it. It was cute because I remember the very first time I did anything, and we're talking minor stuff compared to what these women do. And as soon as I realized how hard you have to work, I went, I think I'm an actor. I go. I'm all for you. Like, I support you, but you go, you take it away. They, the stunt coordinator said to me, he goes, whatever you do, don't say that was fun. Even if it was. I was getting hung for a woman in the, what do they call it, gallows, like you're getting killed. I got hung, and they had you all hooked up, and they drop you through. And my biggest concern was not to lean forward and smash my face, because it's just a small square. He's like, stay upright. Whatever you do at the end, don't say it was fun. And instinctually, as soon as it was over, I just wanted to blurt out, that was so much fun, but you can't, because then they'll make you do it again.
Right.
He's like, you want to do it right, you get maybe one shot. everyone looks at you like, pardon my language, but he referred to it as, they think stunt people piss gasoline. Like literally they think they're that tough.
Right.
So they just have this, this really tough job of showing up with about 5 minutes left and doing the hardest thing on set and getting no acknowledgement, As an actor, if you're, if you squeak out that monologue really fast at the end so that everyone doesn't go into overtime, they pat you on the back and kudos and good for you. If you're the stunt performer who has to go in and throw your body against a bunch of cans and knock over everything in the supermarket, they want you to do it in one shot and don't be hurt. And as a girl, could you take off that padding because you're in a skirt and a tank top? And man, they got it tough. So I just say good for them. They're superheroes in their own right.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's why I'm not tough enough. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I just think it's a certain mentality and a certain skill set. It's like people who do, who does the Iron Man? A certain breed of human.
Right.
For them. Am I ever going to do the Iron Man? It's not on my bucket list, but for you, I'm so excited for you.
Well, see, because UFC is very popular.
Yes.
And I don't watch it. I'm just like, okay, it doesn't, affect me whether it exists or not, right? And I'm not being harsh. I'm just saying, it's not my thing. The weirdest thing to me is that somebody will train themselves to get the crap beat out of them.
Yes.
It's like, who wants that? I don't want that job. I don't want to get the crap beat out of me.
And they're so pumped about it.
Yeah, it's
let me get that shot.
Yes, yeah, it's just so amazing. Just what the type of person that's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. That, and I can kind of understand boxing just because they have pillows on their hands, even though they're not pillows. I'm just trying to be funny, but
I hear you.
It's yeah, and I played football for many years, and just the idea of somebody just like, I'm gonna beat this guy. It's just amazing to me that that's a thing.
Well, did you hear there's that woman, I can't remember her name, but she's 68 and she started to do UFC and she actually got into her first fight. I think she got knocked out, but she was 68 and she did her first MMA fight.
Ronda Rousey?
Is that her? No, this woman, this older woman. Yeah, she's 68 years old and
Wow.
you're like, kidding me?
Oh,
yeah, and Perez, I think.
Oh, okay.
Superhero, but I think the girl knocked her out, but
Right.
good for her for even trying.
Right. See, if I was in my 90s, that's when I probably would be like, all right, let's go to UFC because, look, I don't have that many years on me. If something's going to happen, I want it to be televised. So let's do this.
There you go.
They just have to, blow on me and I'll just fall over and that'll be it.
There you go.
So you get into acting and all that, or you do you get bit,
right?
And then when is your first project that you do acting wise?
My first one, it was actually that same year. I drove a girlfriend who was in my class. I drove her to an open casting call for an MTV film called Everybody's Doing It that was filming back home in Winnipeg. And it starred, okay, let's backtrack a bit. So I go into the audition. I had no idea I was going to. I genuinely was just driving her. And the casting director heard my laugh. And at the time I had very short to the chin, reddish, light orangish kind of color of hair because I liked to color my hair back then. And this casting director, her name was Kathy Driscoll. She said, come here. She goes, are you going to audition? I said, I have no clue how to. She goes, I'll walk you through it. And then she told me to come back the following, I think it was like a couple days later, because this was a weekend, so the following Monday or Tuesday. And she walked me through the audition process, and I ended up booking it. And it had...
Lizzie Kaplan, right?
Yeah.
I remember this.
Hilarious. I was one of the friends. It just so happened that I looked like one of the characters that had been written, and it was this bunch of high school students. So that was my first, it was like 16 days on set. I had no clue what I was doing, but they were so good to me and walked me through the whole thing. And I just remember it was about 3 a.m. and they were doing my very first close-up coverage. And the director, Jeff Beasley, who is such a good human, he had to talk me through it so that I didn't look straight into the camera because I didn't even know to not look. I thought, well, it's in my face. I should look at it. So they were so good with me. And the other one that was so awesome on that project was Brooke Dorsey, I think you say it. She's been working in LA for years. She's a great person, but they were all so good to me, and that was my very first experience. So I thought every movie you do must be like this. You work 3 weeks straight, and you learn very quickly that's not how it's going to be forever. But yeah, it was great. I think yeah, it must have been 20. So it must have been that next year, right after my birthday. That was my first film ever.
Oh, right on. I remember because before I wanted to go to film school, I said, you know what? I know I'm going to do this, and, I have a couple of months. I said, let me get onto a film set, first of all. Let me just get on.
Best thing you can do.
Yeah, and so I just thought, I kind of, although being a PA would have been smart, I was like, here's the thing. I just want to be background so I can observe everything and take everything in.
But that's smart because that's how you observe. Sometimes the PAs get stuck way down the road, directing traffic.
Right. We need you to watch this cone, please.
Right, for the next 6 hours.
Make sure this cone does not move.
Yeah, no, you want to learn. You got to be background. You got to see what the camera guys are doing.
Exactly. Sure. And so I ended up, going in for background, but I got this role. I had 2 lines in it as a firefighter, and I was so scared and nervous that I read the entire script to understand the role of the firefighter.
Hey, you got it.
I got it, yes, even though it had nothing to do with it, but
right.
But I love background acting. I've always said if I were to be an actor, I don't want to be the lead. I want to be the best friend's best friend.
Right.
Because nobody, you just come in and you say funny jokes and you get out, right?
Well, I call it the Stanley Tucci. You want to be that person that people go, I've seen you in everything, but who is that?
Right.
I don't know them. Now he's far more known, but you look back, gosh, you look at that man's career. He's been in everything.
He was in Beethoven.
He's been in absolutely everything.
Yeah.
I got the chance to work with him. I did some dancing in the film Shall We Dance back in the day back home, and he was the dancer that we danced around. He was hilarious, but so gracious, so smart, so committed to what he was doing. And I mean, the word on the street was that he would just take a set, I don't know if it was weekly or monthly or day, whatever it was, his rate. Rather than ask for a big salary, he was affordable, and he was so good that people would just keep using him, and you just go, that's so much smarter. Like, clearly he wants to be there because he likes the craft and the actual process, as opposed to he wants the attention. Because to this day, I think a lot of people would still kind of go, who? What? He's more recognizable now, but everyone knows who he is if you see his face.
Right.
He's a great freaking actor.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I'm glad somebody finally brought up Stanley Tucci. I've been, 100 plus episodes. Nobody has brought him up.
He's my ultimate, if someone ever says, well, what kind of career do you want? I would say, I want to be a Stanley Tucci, which I think is maybe different as a female, but that's the dream. He gets to do a million different types of characters, and I'm sure still has a ton of privacy, and yeah, just a working actor. That's the dream, right?
Yeah, and he crushes every role. I mean, people talk about the newest Transformers movie that came out a couple years ago. Yeah. He is so good in it. He's very funny, and I saw it and I was like, Stanley Tucci's the man.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good in everything. Tell me one thing he's not good in.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He's good, especially in Beethoven. He's good with his funny boots.
Right.
But do you have any horrible audition stories?
Oh boy, where do we start? Probably my favorite was one. I'm a big advocate for just say you can do it and then figure it out. Right. So I dance. I like dancing. I'm good at it. But I'm not a dancer. I started later, and I never wasn't really a ballerina or anything like that. But I can move really well. And so there was this little audition for, this is twofold. So the horrible experience I'll tell you about, and then I'll kind of end with the good experience of the dance situation. So the first one was I went in the room for, I think it was just the equivalent of like, it wasn't a commercial. It was some kind of a PSA, and they wanted everyone to dance. And so I thought, okay, they wanted all these moms to really be, hip hop style. So I went, dressed for the part, and then I brought my own music, and the casting director goes, oh, no, we have music. And from the back of the room is this old school ghetto blaster that you would have gotten at, Zellers or Kmart when you were maybe 12, and it was purple, and they put a CD in the top, and it was this really slow kind of funked out beat, but nothing you could actually really rock out to.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, and they put it on and it was so quiet. It was embarrassing how there was no energy in the room at that moment. So I'm trying to do my moves, and then I realized that I'm out of moves and it's still going, but I had worried so much about the dance that I actually didn't look at the paper of, like the lines. So I am now realizing that they're waiting for me to say my line. So in the middle of trying to do, a body roll, I'm trying to my paper and say the lines. And it just was an absolute nightmare. But then the worst part was that when the music was still going and I was out of lines and I was out of moves, in my brain, it made sense to turn around, grab the chair, and straight donkey kick into the air with my feet and almost kick the reader.
Yes, yes.
Enough that I had hang time to think to myself, Lisa, this is a choice you made to be here. This is all you. No one made you be here. So that was probably the most humbling of any audition experience I've ever had. But the flip side to that is that back to the Shall We Dance, when I went to that one and it was this open dance call, my friend Mark Devine, who is an amazing, amazing singer, but he was also in the same boat of we were going to learn dance later in life. So we went as dance partners and we got all dressed up as if we were the hottest Latino couple ever. And I'm a little white girl.
Right.
So I curly ringlets and did this crazy makeup and wore the perfect outfit. And we go and there's this open call and there has to be 600 plus people there. And one by one, you got a number. And one by one, they were, you would do that. They would teach you the routine and then they would just get rid of you, eliminate you. And somehow as the day went on, people that were my teachers in these classes, knowing I was older and I was learning, were getting eliminated. But because him and I had decided we were going to be this couple, and I don't remember what we called ourselves, but I'm pretty sure we gave ourselves, some kind of a stage name.
Right. Latin Heat or something.
Yeah, something ridiculous. And if you look up Mark Devine, he looks like a Greek goddess. He's absolutely stunning. And so it was him and I, and we somehow made it to the end and we ended up booking one of these 12 dancing spots in this film. And to this day, I don't know how I got past everybody else, but I think just because I was so sure of myself that I was so committed to this silly little character, I ended up getting it. So that's the flip side, is you have moments where you want to drop dead. And then you have moments where you kind of go, I'm just going to keep going until somebody else notices that I should not be here. And sometimes it does work out. So yeah, it worked out great. But yeah, I've had both sides of it where you genuinely just kind of want to crawl into a hole and die. But somehow you just get up the next day and go, well, that was that, and brush yourself off and keep going. So there you be.
There you go. And let me give you a little pointer because I am Latin.
Oh, amazing.
Sort of. I mean Mexican, but it's all the same.
Please do.
So if you want to make it look like you are of Latino descent,
okay,
you don't have to. I mean, hair would be great, but it's all in the fingernails.
Ooh,
if you have long fingernails, long bright red fingernails, it's like, okay.
Well, next time I crash an audition, I'll think of that. I'll put on some big, long nails.
Yes, exactly. And then you'll be convincing people for sure.
Right. Why is Kristen Bell at our audition?
Why is Latino actress Kristen Bell here?
Oh, man, I would just stick out like a sore thumb now. This was, oh, God, that was 14 years ago or something. So now they would just kind of go, or 12 years ago, what are you doing here? Don't worry about it.
So now I want to give you some time to plug anything for, any upcoming projects. First of all, I would like to know, for the people at home who want to follow you, where can they do that?
Any of my social media, I have the exact same name. It's under the Lisa. It's Durupt, but it looks like Durupt. So Durupt. The Lisa Durupt. For Instagram, for Twitter, for Facebook. Any of that stuff. I do have a website, just www.lisadurupt.com, which I try to keep pretty current, pretty good about that stuff. So anything on there, yeah. And just, the world of Google, you can always find anything nowadays. So a couple things, I guess, coming up, different Hallmark projects. There's The Convenient Groom, which is with Vanessa Marcil. If you ever watched General Hospital, I did a little cameo in that one. And then also the amazing Trisha Helfer. I just did a film with her. I got to play her sister. And that was called Operation Christmas. I don't know. Sometimes they change it before it gets to air. So we'll see. That's also with Mark. I always say his name wrong. Lucas? The best guy ever. He's from Buffy. If you've ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he was in that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's with them. And that was kind of a fun one because I got to sing in that one, which was, something that I love to do. So the fact that I got to do it on screen, which you don't get to do often, was nice. Right. Yeah, so those are two, I would say. The Convenient Groom is going to air, I believe, June 18th on Hallmark. And then Murder, She Baked, the next film, which they've titled The Deadly Recipe, airs on June 19th. So those are two to watch out for.
There we go. And Lisa, I've had a blast chatting with you, and I feel like our energies matched each other.
Same tribe, my friend. Same tribe.
Exactly. And, Mountain Dew, mainly. Mountain Dew helped me.
I have not had Mountain Dew in years. Now I'm going to go get one.
Oh, my gosh. Just watch out. Watch out. And it's the thing, I never drink Mountain Dew, but I was just in the convenience store, and I was like, you know what? I haven't had one for a while.
Sometimes you just got to.
You just got to do the do.
Yeah, exactly.
But Lisa, I've had a blast chatting with you, and you are welcome back on anytime you want.
Thank you.
In fact, we're going to start a new podcast.
There we go.
You and I.
Perfect.
There we go. It's going to be called Do the Do, where we just drink a lot of Mountain Dew and try to speak words.
Right. But we should do it on the island, because I feel like we've endorsed Victoria Island.
That's true.
Vancouver Island enough.
There we go. Well, you have a wonderful day and much continued success for you.
Thank you. Say hi to your sister for me.
Oh, I will. Oh,
okay.
Do you want to say hi, Andrea? She'll lose her mind.
Oh, her name's Andrea as well?
Yes.
Hey, Andrea. Thank you so much for watching the show. And if you're half as fun as your brother, I know we would get along fabulously.
Unfortunately, she's not. I'm sorry. I got all the fun genes. I'm sorry.
Don't say that
sorry,
lie.
Andrea. She knows. She knows it.
I get cold for Christmas now.
That's okay.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day, my friend.
You too, and wonderful everything for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.